seen you guys since last year.
Good morning, Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Hi, Zoom. We got a lot of people on Zoom this morning
Because it's raining.
because it's raining. Yeah, I love the rain. I'm okay with it. I can't complain. All right, let's go ahead and get started. First, we're gonna have a little broker moment. Drewski.
Good morning, KW. How are we? Awesome. Hey, gosh, I wish I was in the room with you guys. This feels weird to be out in Zoom land, but I wanted to share with you today something that's kind of been going on and make sure that everybody is fully aware regarding contingency removal, the timing around that, and where you can get yourself into some like serious deep water, okay? So first and foremost, when you remove a contingency, prior to having all of the information, so let's have an example. Let's say that we remove all of our contingencies because, well, the listing agent asked us to, and it's day 18. Okay, we have the termite, we have the roof, we have the home inspection, request for repairs agreed to, so we feel good about it, and we go ahead and we sign the CR and we ship that off to the listing agent. And then a week later, the HOA documents come in, and there's a problem with the HOA. At this point, you have no contractual ability to get out of the agreement. Because you've already waived that contingency prior to having all the information. So please, please do not waive contingencies until all of the documentation, the information, reports, disclosures, everything is in. Now, you could remove the home inspection, because that's done over in our scenario. You could remove the termite and the preliminary title report. You could remove the things that you do know about, but you have to be careful about are the reports that are not yet in. The contract does not protect you from those instances. In fact, it's the exact opposite. The contract says that if you go ahead and waive a contingency on a report or disclosure that you do not yet have, it does not revive the contingency. So the HOA document comes in and it turns out the HOA is in litigation. They have a lawsuit against them. And the bank can no longer fund the loan based on this lawsuit. Well, as the buyer's agent, if you already removed that contingency, you cannot revive it, meaning your buyer is probably going to lose their deposit. Now, that being said, let's say that the HOA documentation came in and everything looked okay. And you have everything that you need to make the decision to remove all the contingencies, so you do so. And then a few days later, new information comes to light. A new discovery is made. Now it turns out, oh my gosh, the HOA is in a lawsuit. They're in litigation, and we can't get the loan funded. That's what we call new discovery. And on new discovery, the buyer now has 5 days from that moment of new discovery to either cancel the agreement or ask for that to be rectified from the seller. So it reopens that ability for the buyer to come back on it. But that's only if the information is new discovery and it was not disclosed in the transfer disclosure statement. Is this making sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Where we are getting into trouble, folks, is we're being flippant about removing the contingencies and forgetting about it's happened twice in a month. We're removing the contingencies in the HOA. There's a problem. There's a difficulty with the HOA, and we, so far we've managed to get the deposit back to the buyer. But you have to be very careful and tread lightly as it relates to that. Any questions around any of that? Everybody feels good about that? You're comfortable?
Drew, I have a quick question on that. I have just a quick question. I got a counter offer, let's pretend, and in the counter offer, it said that the contingencies to be are removed after 17 days. So do I need to send in that removal, or what happens there?
You would send in that CR at the 17 days. So what's interesting is if you get a counteroffer that way, understand that your position in the contract has not changed. Think about it for a moment. What does the residential purchase agreement say about contingency removal?
They have to be removed in writing.
They have to be removed in writing in 17 days. Now, the state of California is what we call an active state versus a state that might be passive, okay? So passive means what?
You don't have to do anything and they go away.
You don't have to do anything, it just happens. California is active, meaning you have to do something. It doesn't just happen on its own. It's not beat the clock. So just because it's 17 days, on day 18, those contingencies are still alive and well until you do something to remove them. So it's already, that provision that Garrett just spoke about is already in the contract. So if you get a counteroffer, your position is the same. All they've done is rename the same position that you already had in the original agreement. So on day 17, you remove the contingencies or you send in for a cancellation. I would not send a contingency removal back with the counteroffer. Don't do that. That's unnecessary and you're putting your buyer at risk. You still continue to wait out the 17 days, make sure that your buyer has done all of their due diligence, all the inspections, the reports, all the disclosures are in, and then you have a discussion with them, making sure they understand that once they sign this contingency removal, they're now saying they're moving forward with the property, and if they cancel, they're not getting the deposit.
Hey, Drew?
That answer the question?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, there's one more question.
Yeah, can we send over a CR, remove all contingencies except HOA?
Yes.
Okay.
100%. Whatever contingencies you do not have. So I think what's happening is HOA is being missed because rarely do we have HOA issues. Usually they fly, they come in and everything's okay and we go to closing and it's no big deal. And we only think about the big ticket items as we think of them, right? The big ticket items. But the HOA is a big ticket, so now we got to put that on our radar.
If you ever have
If you don't have the HOA docs,
yeah. The Stanridge condominiums, there's a problem with that HOA that I'm currently aware of. So just, there's a few out there, just a heads up if you have a deal on one of those, there's been problems.
Also, a thing to keep aware on HOAs is the lights went out. The reserves, make sure the reserves are good, that they have adequate reserves for your lender, because those are always issues.
get those HOA docs checked up front. Do not remove the contingencies until you know that everything's good. Have a conversation with the lender, right? Are you good? Do you have everything from the HOA? Do you have everything you need before I do this, right? Don't let the listing agent bully you in to removing those contingencies. This just happened. What if the listing agent contacts escrow and tells escrow that there's a change in the agreement, okay? Legitimately, there's a change in the agreement, and to add a clause in there that says, and all contingencies are to be removed. This just happened. So if you get an amendment that looks like this, what's escrow's function, by the way? How do they take direction?
Neutral third party.
Yeah, from both parties.
They're a neutral third party, so they take direction from both parties, not unilaterally. So just because escrow sent an amendment that has some verbiage in it does not mean you have to have your buyer accept that. right? So listing agent tells escrow, hey, Shauna, put in all contingencies are to be removed. You can easily just call Shauna and say, I don't want that in there, take it out. Escrow is not the functionary of your negotiation. Right, so if that's in there, that's inappropriate for the agent who did that. So just know that, okay? One more thing I wanted to, any other questions on that before I move on to the next thing?
Just that.
Cool, okay, so, adding a buyer. When you add a buyer to the contract, let's say that husband decides he's gonna buy the house by himself, and you get halfway through, and then they decide, okay, not so bad, we wanna go ahead and add wife onto the contract as well. It's not as bad as we thought, it's gonna be easier than we thought, she can get time off work, fine, we're gonna add wife onto the contract. So you're gonna need the document that adds a signer to the contract, and that additional buyer must sign all of the documents. They must sign the contract and all related disclosures. Okay? You cannot just have them sign the AAA and call it a day.
Hey, Drew,
They gotta sign the AAA and they gotta sign all the related documents to the transaction.
so if you have a set of fully executed documents and then they add, do you just send it to the one person they're adding to sign, or do you have to send a fresh set to everybody?
Yep, so you would do an addendum. You would do an addendum that says, we're adding Becky Sue to the agreement, along with the AAA, which is the additional signature, and then the documents that Becky Sue did not sign, Becky Sue would sign all of those documents. As long as you have the addendum in place and the signature on all those documents comes after the addendum, then you're in good shape. That's what's required.
Okay.
Do you guys want the contract signed or just the addendum?
Everything.
Just all of it.
Do not call escrow and tell them we do our own amendment.
Don't tell us, Drew.
I can't hear, what's the question?
No, you guys want the contract signed, not just the AOAA and an amendment from escrow? So you want
Correct.
everything signed?
All of it.
Bummer.
Yeah.
It's not hard to do. Yeah, you print it all out, or you have a digital copy, you upload it into Command in one file,
The bummer
and then you
part
go
is,
to your documents, you send out for signatures, and you add it on there. It doesn't take that long.
be very careful, because
Yeah.
it happens a lot when we get loan documents. We didn't know that the spouse was gonna be on title, it just happened last night. So we potentially are closing on Friday. So if it's happening at loan docs, you gotta hurry up and hustle, because you literally only have a couple days before it's closed. And then after closing, if you have a listing agent, it's gonna be hard for you to get that signed.
Yeah, you guys really if you have a change, by the way, there's a provision in the contract called the time of the essence clause. And that clause states that if there's a change, a material fact change in the agreement, you have to tell the other party ASAP. As reasonably soon, right? So you've got to let them know. So if you've got an adding a buyer and you're not telling the other side of the equation straight away, you're actually technically in breach of the agreement.
So what they're gonna
So you
say,
have to tell them what's going on.
so what they're gonna say too is, it's not a big deal because it's a non-borrowing spouse. But if
Right.
they're on the deed of trust, they're on the grant deed, so they're part of the transaction. So if an agent tells you it's no big deal because it's a non-borrowing spouse, you still have to get those documents, because he still or she is still going to become a part of the transaction, even though she didn't use her credit. So if the agent says, oh, it's not a big deal, it's just non-borrowing, it still is a big deal.
Anything that modifies the contract.
Right.
Anything that modifies the contract will put you, if you don't notify.
You know, we don't care who's borrowing the money. Who's borrowing the money is between the bank and them. What we care about is who's a party to the transaction. Once you add somebody on, you're adding them onto everything. That person can sue you 3 ways to Sunday, just the same as the first buyer can. And if you don't have them signing all the disclosures and all the contracts, then you're gonna lose the battle. Right? That's what we're looking out for, right? We don't care who's borrowing what. The lender doesn't dictate our real estate transaction, we do. Right? They think they want us to live in their world and like think that they run the show, but the reality is, no. That we have to help our buyers and sellers abide by the guidelines if we want the financing to go through, that they don't run the show. So we don't care who's borrowing the money, whoever's a party to the contract is who's signing. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Awesome.
Partial.
Any questions, comments, or concerns for me?
Happy birthday, Drew!
Happy late birthday.
Thank you.
It was yesterday.
It wasn't yesterday.
Appreciate that.
A couple days ago.
Happy birthday.
Couple days ago.
Couple days ago.
Only the real friends remember 2 days after.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I'm 38 now, so that's great.
It's like, thank you, Drew.
Thank you, guys.
We appreciate you as always.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to it. Let me go there. All right, let's have some fun.
All right.
Oh yay, let's have some fun.
Shot him.
Yay! Alright, so I guess it's new year, new prices. Right?
New year, new prices.
New year, new prices. So closest to the actual retail price wins a gift card.
Every household in the last 2 weeks
Yep.
by non-KW agents.
KW.
And just a reminder, Zoom, Jesus is watching.
And I don't know the answer.
Get off your app.
Huh?
Get off
Drew,
Flex.
I can tell Drew's looking it up right now.
Yeah, Drew's trying to look. We'll help you in Ridgecrest MLS, Drew.
Alright, first one is East Lancaster, 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, built in 1971
That's on the knoll.
on Bernald Street.
Thank you.
Thank you. 2-story. Nice
Fully rehab.
ish.
Ooh, look at that backyard.
Fully rehab
It's
inside.
ready.
That's
Room to grow.
Fully.
When did this close? Was it last year? Or this year?
Last year.
Oh, last year. Oh, so
Last
like
2 weeks.
900,000.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I could have sold it.
Are we ready?
All right, see those
Want some
guesses.
prices?
Put those guesses on the phone, write them down.
Zoom, we got 560, 440, 460.
460, 432,
475.
425, 475. Brandon's
I don't know
lost
the
in
price.
thought. Got 310 on Zoom, 489, 430, 425, 500, 420,
Yeah, you guys.
Oh, yeah.
459 for Marvin.
Gotta guess what the price was.
No, I have to say.
If it's 460,
No, it's gonna be more.
No, it's not worth it.
Howard East.
Is this like?
All right, are we ready? I think we're ready.
This one doesn't count anymore.
Okay, hurry up.
This one
It's at least more. It's like 4.
And the actual retail price is?
is
429.
Oh, man!
419.
Anybody have?
Anyone got 420?
420 plays it.
I have it in my pocket.
Way closer than you were. Good job.
Yeah.
Like all the young guys who
Oh,
got 420.
Zoom.
Perfect. That gets
Got
us
it.
to it.
Jack.
Jessica's iPhone.
Jessica's iPhone.
Jessica.
Which
Okay.
Jessica?
which Jessica, yeah.
Next one is,
Oh, Jessica Jason got it? Oh, Jessica got it, 420.
No, that was
She had
afterwards.
it, she had it dead on.
There's no
Give it back.
timestamp. There's
Give
no.
it back.
There's no
Oh, Jessica Dixon wins. Brandon lost by 1,000. Oh, man.
Well, I'm in person, so.
next one, just keep in mind for the next one.
All right, Jessica, I'll get in your mailbox.
Nice house.
Okay.
Nice house, West Lancaster, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, built in 2004,
What is that wall?
2,700 square feet.
Oh, it's like stucco. That's Trump's wall.
Halfway done.
Big kitchen, Ethan Island.
Okay, kitchen's okay. It's nice, it's very clean.
Nobody wants to water their
Oh,
backyard.
that's virtual stage.
Yeah, water restrictions.
I don't care.
Well, solar
Unless
paid.
you're in Quartz Hill, they don't
We have
care.
water restrictions after this rain or what?
Yeah.
know what I say to water restrictions?
Can you go back for square
I don't
footage?
believe it.
Refill my pool one more time.
They did not even care. They don't care.
20 cents, big house.
Home Ranch. They
That's
don't.
actually 50
Small lot.
cents house. Just kidding.
Yeah, it's about 75 something else.
All right, let's see those guesses.
All right.
Oh. My slate
Five,
cast. Did it
50.
closing date?
2 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
610,
Oh,
Within
That was kind
2
of
weeks.
bad.
45, 660, 525. What do we got on Zoom? 520, 529, 525, 525, 555, 545, 560, 589,
sold low there.
575,
Okay, I'm gonna go with.
530,
Buddy.
It's actually low, but hey, I sent it.
520, 555.
Everybody on, I can't see that
All
part.
right, last second here.
Let's see what we have. What do you have, Marvin?
Close to that, yeah.
Five guys.
35. I went 5%.
Like
Like
$535?
couches.
Yes.
Yeah, I like those big couches.
Yeah.
Those are nice.
All right.
Those aren't fake, I think.
Ready? Actual retail price is.
Oh! We got 485. We got a bunch on Zoom. We got 489 on Zoom.
Oh, anybody here close?
Anybody closer than 480 or 589? I'm sorry, 58. Oh no, that's over.
That's over.
That's way
You're
over.
really sad.
485. Anybody closer than 485?
I don't think anyone got 4.
Well, $595.
That's close.
Brandon is a winner.
My God.
I won.
Game.
Did you really?
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
All right, last one,
I feel like
guys.
that's wrong.
I feel like I agree, or they used a really bad agent.
495. That's a great agent.
Cashew?
I don't know. We're gonna have to look it up.
Oh, that's Joshua
Big lot
Ranch.
for your house.
Joshua Ranch.
Palmdale, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths,
Who?
built in
I almost had to
last
see if my
year.
door knocked.
Who built last year?
Everybody over there
Joshua
behind
Hall.
John.
Highland.
Oh yeah.
Nice kitchen.
Is that one of those houses?
It has to be.
That's California City.
They use them all, right?
It is.
Hey, Kelsey,
It is.
that's like
Look at that pool too.
Is this, what is it called?
pool.
Joshua Tree?
It's got to be right.
Joshua Ranch.
Phase 1 or
Joshua Ranch.
3 or something like
That's
that.
phase one.
That is Joshua Ranch.
Hello?
Johnson Tree's about 100 miles out.
No, there's one right here in the desert.
All right, what do you guys got in prices? Let's go.
I don't know, how did they fix it up so fast?
580?
3,000 square feet. With pool.
It's like, no, you're low, dude. Come on now. 610,
Yeah, fire department.
699, 620. Like how I call you out on your price, dude. 685, 685. You guys are right next to the same price. 875. Whoa.
Yeah.
700,
Maybe right around that 870.
700,
I know where they started.
665, 800,
Yeah.
595,
Someone
570.
from
You
the
guys
valley
are
was duplicate.
so over the place. Low and high. 749. I really don't know.
Yeah,
So they-
yeah, perfect.
They started in the 70s.
Yeah, I think it's at least
They
750.
started in the
They
city.
started
Yeah,
in the
There's a new
70s.
community.
Well,
Well,
I
you
don't
can,
Damn, somebody got you.
800 to Haley. Anything closer than 800?
Yeah, but I went over. If I went over, it'll count, right?
No.
So close.
Fudge.
Anybody else?
Anybody closer than 800?
Illogical. You got one in your box. As always, thank you guys, and remember, on-time home contract.
Congrats to Haley, it's in your box. Thank you, Shauna.
Alright.
Oh, wonderful, Shauna.
Well, hold on.
So let's turn off that music.
That's where the rich people are.
Yeah, nice.
All right, that was fun. Shauna, hit the lights on your way out. We got a message from Mr. President, Mark King.
Mark King here with the amazing Jen Lewis. Jen, what do you do around here?
Hi, y'all. I'm the Director of Team Leader Community and Engagement, helping your team leaders talk about all things housing economy and what you need to know.
Yeah, and in this new year, what we need to know is what's going to happen with closed units. And there's some projections out there, somewhere around 4 million closed units in 2023 in the United States. That's down from 6.1 million in 2021. So are you prepared for an up to 33% drop in closed units.
That's right. And my coach and I had an interesting conversation today where he told me that, Jen, hey, agents actually control the market more than the economy. And I thought that's an interesting way to say that. And he said it's because the conversations that you have, the things that you say to your clients actually impacts their decisions about buying and selling more than what they're hearing on the news.
Yeah, and if you want to learn all the right things to say, because let's be honest, we've been through a 14-year economic expansion. It's fair to say we might have fallen in the trap of being lead receivers more than lead generators as an industry. If you want to know exactly what to say, when to say, and who to say it to, please come to Family Reunion in Anaheim.
That's right.
You'll be there.
I will be there.
I'll be there.
You should be there too.
That's a great way to end. Have a happy new year.
Happy New Year, y'all.
Happy New Year. All right, look at the lights for me, Swan. How come this never clicks past when it's done? Oh. Okay, cool. All right, guys, we're gonna go through quickly our mission, vision, values today. So our mission here at Keller Williams is to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. Our vision is to be the real estate company of choice for our agents and their customers. And then our values as God, family, then business. We're going to watch something real quick by Simon Sinek talking about values in business that I found pretty interesting.
How do we get our customers and suppliers to buy into our why? To buy into our mission?
How do I get somebody that I went on a date with to fall in love with me? It's like, you're asking the wrong question. You have to be clear and open about what you stand for. And just like when you hire somebody, you want to make sure that when you hire them, that they share your values, that they believe in your vision. You know, they don't just think it's corny, you know, or marketing, but rather that they buy into it. And sometimes we'll make mistakes. And sometimes people will come and they fall in love with it after the fact, but we try on balance to bring people that we believe will get along with the people who work here because of our values and our cause. And so too is it with suppliers. I think that or clients, it's the same thing, which is we stand for what we stand for, and our goal is to attract people who believe what we believe. The more vocal we are about what we believe, those people literally will come to us or turn down a competitor who may even be cheaper because they would rather do business with us. And so it's okay to do business with a supplier that doesn't believe what we believe, but we have to go in with eyes open, knowing full well that this is just a transaction. You offer a decent product, you give me a decent price, this is not going to be a lifelong relationship, this is a transactional relationship, and when it's done, I'm just going to hold you to very different standards, right? Because when it's transactional, we're a little less patient when things go wrong. And sometimes we kid ourselves, you just can't do that too often. It's like if you're living a healthy lifestyle, you can have chocolate cake, just not too often. So yeah, I think the more vocal you are, the more you attract. And then you have to make decisions like you're hiring people because they're going to become a member of your family as well. This is the difference between the short-term finite-minded and the long-term infinite-minded. The finite-minded, is it the cheapest today? Is it the best relationship today? And pay no attention to the secondary or tertiary effects, and definitely pay no attention to what will happen in 5 years. Whereas that long-term minded, infinite-minded player looks at something and looks at someone and says, well, you know, you're not the cheapest, but I think we're going to get along just fine. And over the course of time, the quality of work will far outweigh whatever you pay. A friend of mine who's a consultant loves to joke about her clients that they never have the time or money to do it right the first time, but they always have the time and money to do it again. And I think when you're infinite-minded, you consider those factors from the beginning.
All right, couple things from there that I love, but what do you guys think? Anything you take from that, either Zoom or in here?
If we live healthy, we can eat cake. Be clear. Be clear.
A relationship, your short-term relationship.
What were you saying, JD, as well?
I think it's
Being clear and making sure that your guys' values, mainly they know that you're aligned with their values, right? Like a seller, they have certain values. Some are the same, some are different. Buyers, or even just our sphere of influence, clients in general, how do they value us? Do they like it? Do we share common values too?
Yeah. Whoever's on Zoom?
Oh, hi, this is Melissa. I really love that, the Keller Williams values really relay that we're honest, that you can rely on us to do the best for you, and that, we're not like the other guys that are just out to make a buck. We're really going to do the best job and get you the best value for your money.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Seek and find what their value is.
You relate?
Identify that.
Yeah. So I'm going to say something that might be controversial to some. They might disagree with me. In fact, most people disagree with me on this. But the more I've read Infinite Game, or if I've read some people that have really done some amazing things, is talking about your values and who you are and being okay with that, and knowing that not everyone's going to agree with it. So let's say my value is I'm just religion, right? I am super into God and Jesus, but for my business, I'm worried about I don't want to be too gaudy, and I don't want to rub some people the wrong way. So I won't post these things on social media, right? A lot of us come to that in our who we are. But if my value as a person, that is one of my biggest beliefs. I mean, Keller Williams, we're God, family, and business, right? That's one of our values. We pray together in this room for people that know, and that's what we do. And that attracts people. It might not be for everybody, and that's okay. But for the people that it is, they will be screaming fans of who you are. Now, in politics, many people are like, I won't touch politics online. I typically, personally, I don't do a ton online because I don't think it's worth just fighting over online, because I don't think it's dumb. You don't sit down in long-form conversations if you really want to change someone's mind, works. Tweeting each other doesn't. It's my opinion. Saying that, a lot of people are really, really apprehensive about doing politics online. And I see both sides. I understand that, because you don't want to make everyone mad. But here's the deal, half the people aren't going to use you anyways.
Right.
So having people that 100% agree with you and fans of you may use you, even though if you charge 6% and the other person charges 5%, because they like you and agree with your values. So I really like the way he puts that up. I think it's okay to be who you are and who you are online. Not everyone agrees with me in that. Some people, say don't, do politics and stuff. I disagree. I've read a few different books on that, and Infinite Game is one of the ones I've read. I really like Simon Sinek. But bringing people into your values of who you are, because there are people that align with you, and there are people that won't, no matter what. That's how the world works. And then the next thing is being infinite-minded and finite. Thanks. See, I can talk. Finite-minded, right? Where you're infinite-minded, looking long-term, right? Long-term, what's best for me and aligning with where I'm at, or is this transaction just best for me today? And I think a lot of times we compromise our values, or compromise who we are, for a paycheck today, right? And not realizing long-term that might damage our reputation and who we are. Like trying to pressure the buyer into doing something that we probably think isn't in their best interest at this time, right? Where it might be best to be infinite-minded, saying, if I tell this person no today, and really I want what's best for this person, they may bring me 5 or 10 people in the future. If I force them into something today to get my $6,000 paycheck, I may never hear from this person again and get a bad rep from them, right? So thinking long-term in those strategies within your business and who you partner with and what that looks like, something to really consider.
Yeah, just a comment to that. It's a lot less stress when you work with people that are like-minded to your values, because you're on the same page. So
yeah.
Sometimes I found myself working too hard to win someone over, and when I won them over in the middle of the transaction, we are so opposite in what we thought, and the direction we were going is worth the headache. It was not worth the headache.
Yeah. Absolutely. So look, at the end of the day, I've had to work with people I don't like, and I've suffered through some stuff because I needed money, right? And at the end of the day, it's a transactional. I know I might not follow up with this person in the future because it was not the right fit for me. That's okay, right? But just know who your values are and why that's important. So for us at Keller Williams, it's God, family, the business. Like that's just that's who our values are. We want to put God and family first. And then we want to put our business there to be successful. So, awesome. Let's move on. By the way, if you want more on this information, Simon Sinek wrote Start With Why, the Infinite Game. Infinite Game is one of my favorites. And Leaders Eat Last. And he does a ton of YouTube stuff. Really good. If you're struggling we talk about finding your why a lot in this office. And Drew and I think Amy actually are going to be putting a class together for everybody. He does one that's free. They don't charge you to do it, but they do ask for donations to keep the program going, where it's a more intensive program of going through your life stories to help find your why and connecting with it. It's really good. You can see it at simonsinek.com. I went through it as an agent because I struggled to find my why, my big why reasons to kind of get me out of bed and stuff. So it's really good.
How do we get our customers?
Okay. Some stuff coming up, guys. So Keller Williams offers, I tell everyone when I meet with them when they're new to Keller Williams, is that we are a massive, massive, huge buffet, and many of us don't ever leave the, the chicken aisle. Like we don't go out and spread and see all the great stuff that we have. One of the things that we have here is a lot of communities within Keller Williams for specialty things that if you guys are interested in. So for example, we have the DEI Agent of Distinction, we have design demos, we have new homes, we have luxury, we have KW Sports and Entertainment, KW Young Professionals, we have KW Military, we have KW RE Planners, we have KW Wealth. There are so many different stuff you guys could jump in. Most of these stuff is done online through KW Connect. You could jump into KW Connect and learn more, but here's the dates for some of the trainings if you wanted to jump in and check it out. If you're a young professional under the age of 30? Yeah. Under the age of 30, it's a really great program of young, successful people that get together and collaborate, and there's a lot of opportunity for that. If you have been in the military, there's a lot of great opportunity for people in previous military. If you wanted to get in sports and entertainment, because that's awesome. I would love to work with athletes. I wouldn't want to work with entertainers. Athletes. That sounds fun. And we're close enough to LA. There is a group that specializes in that, and that is an opportunity. If you're interested, you learn more. There are programs you can jump in, be a part of the communities, get their information, and try to get into those communities. Also, KW Command YouTube channel. Command has so much great stuff going on, guys, and a lot of people are figure out how to use it. They have their own YouTube channel, making things easy, showing people how to lead generate and all that fun stuff through it. Just making sure you guys know about it. The featured video right now is how to convert internet leads. So if you can go check on that. They should have top agents that are doing it at a high level, and they're just showing you what they're doing. So go steal it, go watch it.
Yeah, I would say.
No, we're not watching that. All right, build a $100,000 pipeline in 90 days. Create healthy habits, generate new leads, and this is a free hands-on training course. It's 2 3-hour sessions. It's free. All you got to do is scan that QR code right there. It's also in your KW Command in the marketplace if you want to jump in and see it. In your KW Command, there's all sorts of trainings in there. You can jump in and learn whatever you want. We offer a lot of training at this office. And you probably just barely scratched the surface of all the stuff that's offered from KW International and online with all these great trainings. So take advantage of it and learn as best you can, because with learning and growing is one of the best things you could be doing for your business. If you're not lead generating, signing contracts, and working on your business, this is like fourth best thing you could do. All right? Family reunion in person in Anaheim, February 18th through 21st. Typically, we have to get in an airplane, fly across the country. It's a lot of fun. This year, it's in Anaheim, so we could just cruise down there and be in person. It's a great training for all Keller Williams agents. We normally have about 20,000 all show up at the same area. And by the way, guys, we always send the slides out at the end of the day, so if you didn't scan the QR code, you get an email. Mike sends it out, so don't stress. But Anaheim, family reunion, it'll be a great time. Typically, we have about 20 to 30 agents go to family reunion. It's a great learning. There's for all agent levels. There's great trainings and really a great spot to network and meet agents across the nation. And when I go to family reunion, I always talk to aerospace, to other agents, because you never know who's in aerospace, and we do import a lot of people that are in aerospace to come work out here and get exchanging cards, get referral fees, and get some business. All right, that's that for that. I'm going to jump into a little bit of just kind of a little training for you guys. kind of talking about what's going on, and then we're going to jump into a little bit of strategy to kind of get some business rolling. Our annual home sales, this is since 1990. You'll see this is in the millions. So total existing home sales. So our total existing home sales back in the 90s about 3.2 million. See, in the early 2000s we started jumping up to the 5 millions. That's sides per sale. So for example, buy side, sell side, it's how we make money, right? We don't make a dollar until we close the transaction. You see we hit the pinnacle in, was that 2005, and then 2006 started to come down, then we had the big crash. We dropped all the way down to about 4.1%, down about 1.5 million in total sales during that time. Now we had a great, notice that it stayed kind of flat for a couple of years, then we started to recover. We hit our peak last year, 6.1 million, or 2 years ago. Now this year we started to come back down. We're going to probably finish about 4.9 at the beginning of the year. A lot of projections will be at 5.1 to 5.5. It ended up being lower than what they expected. Not what we talked about. So our sales are down this year about 4.9, and we expect next year to be about 4.1. Right back to where it was in 2008. A lot less sales. Why is that? Economy, interest rates, affordability, right? A lot of buyers are just indecision. My biggest reasoning, I think, is uncertainty. A lot of, well, we're going to wait to see what happens. We're going to wait to see what happens, right? Everyone wants to wait. I put a thing on TikTok yesterday. What did I do? Reel? I'm so good at that stuff. I'm like the tickety-tockety master. I hate it, but I got to be better at it. And we talked about it, right? When's the best time to buy investment property? Yesterday. Yesterday. 20 years ago. Far back in the past, because, I'll come back to it. This is my favorite graph, right? This yellow line here is 4% increase in housing prices year over year, where you would expect if you bought a home, the prices would go up year over year 4%, 4%, 4%, right? So even if you bought a house in 2006, right at the peak, and the crash happened, if you held on to it, did you do okay? Yes. You did okay. So if you bought a house today, and the market went really bad, will you be okay over time? All right? Picture it as a man walking up the stairs with a yo-yo. The public is concentrating on the yo-yo. It's down, it's up, we can't buy it, it's down, it's up. But he's walking up the staircase. The yo-yo is going to be much higher at the end of the staircase than he did at the start, right? So it's always going to be going up over time. It doesn't matter about the ups and downs. Everyone wants to time it, but it's the uncertainty in the people is what's causing the lack of sales. Because, number one reason, agents don't do their jobs. Because if agents did their jobs at a high level, what is our job? Educating. Well, we should be in communication with our database, right? We should have a database, we should be in communicate with it, letting them know what's going on, being the economist of choice for them. They'll be listening to you. Instead of looking at every headline that's just trying to get a lot of clicks, right? That sounds like the world's going to crash and die. So if they're listening to us, and we're giving them the information about what's going on, some of the uncertainty goes away. They might feel more comfortable moving forward, right? But they're not. They're listening to the news, and we're not doing our jobs very well. All right? So home sales monthly. This is just over the last 3 years. Yellows 2020, blues 2021, and green, teal, whatever that is, 2022. You see we were pretty solid in January, February, March. Then April we started kind of the downcline. I mean, this was slowly over time. To 5.1 in June, then to 4.8 in July, then to 4.8 in August. And we've been on that downtrend really the last quarter. It hit us, it hit everyone across the nation the most, right? We really kind of felt that during that time. We expect it to continue for a few months. Who's been with us for a while? What did we say was going to happen for sales and filling it here about this time? How long did we say it was probably going to last? Where it's really going to feel tough?
18 months?
We would say about 9 to 18 months, right? We said it was going to be tough. Started from the start, so the start was back here in about June. We said about 9 to 18 months. Reason being is the longest, if we look back in history, if we look back at the last few recessions that we have, the longest recessions that we've had in recorded history between 9 and 18 months. And typically what the Fed does is they start the recession by raising rates. Started raising rates, right? We went into recession, June-ish, May, June, right? That's the start. How do we get out of the recession? What have they done the last 5 recessions that we've had in history?
Lower rates.
They lower rates, right? Now, it depends on how high rates go, but we would reasonably expect probably April, maybe sooner, maybe later, that rates are going to start coming back down. Well, real estate has naturally a yearly flow, right? Normally real estate gets slow at the end of the year. People aren't moving, holidays, but when does it pick up?
April.
It does, right? People start looking in February, March, we start to see pickup. April's the busy, April, May, June are the busy time of year. With interest rates coming back down, we could expect probably April, May, we're probably going to see kick back up and things start moving again pretty decently. So we probably have another 3 or 4 months of pretty tough. And then we'll probably see it going up. Does that make sense? So what should we be doing?
Legion.
Legion. I like it. I'm going to skip that. We're running out of time. Yeah. Yes and no. So Legion what? What does that mean?
There's different ways talking to people, making friends.
Legion, the reason why I don't like Legion term as much, because when I was new, I thought Legion meant I just had to cold call, go door knock, and meet people. And I think it's not the right all the time answer. I like the term opportunity creating, because talking to your family, sending out newsletters, doing that stuff is lead generation. It is creating opportunities, and that is just as important. I'm going to get to that in a second. So, right, we need leads. Why? We need
money.
Money. We need leverage. Why?
Time.
So we need time. What is our biggest leverage when we're new? When we're running a business, not just new, anytime in any business.
You have no money and all the time in the world.
It's true. Right? So what is our biggest leverage piece that we have in business, in our running a business? We say it here all the time, we create systems and models, right? A system is leverage because it saves us time. So if I have a really, really good system of doing a team meeting, if I come in, I prepare, I do it all right, it's easier and I save time to do the team meetings every week. If I have no idea what I'm doing every week and last minute and I have to spend 4 hours putting it together, it's going to take me a lot more time and it's chaos, correct? But a good system saves me time. Make sense? So good systems in your business save you time. For example, if you had to text 200 people Happy New Year for your database, doing it one at a time in your phone is going to take you forever. But if you had a good system where you could put in one text message and it send out to 200 people at once, it'd take you 5 minutes. Correct? So systems save you time. Systems are your first piece of leverage in any business. A lot of times people think leverage is going to hire your first assistant. That saves you time as well. That's great. But systems are your first piece. All right? So the challenge that we have typically with systems, and especially in integrating technology in that, is that we're really intimidated. We're really intimidated with the technology, what to do, how to do it. It's confusing. Blah. The wonderful evolution of efficiency. So the evolution of efficiency, the funny thing about technology is that the degree of intimidation that you experience is directly related to where you encounter it in the evolution. Its evolution is to be more efficient. All right? So let's look at it real quick. Washing machines. Started with rocks, washboards, shaker, manual spin washer, finally washing machine. What's more efficient?
Washing machine.
Right? Over time. Remote control. You got a TV knob. Back in the day, what was your first remote control to TV knob? Your kids. Right? They change the channel for you. Anyone do that for their dads when they were little? Then you had a remote. Then you had a universal remote. Then you have a phone. Right? Your payments. You started out with barter. Then you had coins. Then you had cash. Then you had checks. Then you had credit cards. Now I'm like, hey, shoot me some money. It's done, right? MLS. We had list sheets. We had an MLS book. We had thermal paper, no screen computer, in the office only. Then you had a computer and bulletin boards, computers with the internet. Now you can find any house and any information anywhere in seconds, right? Technology's efficiency gives you more time, makes things easy. Then obviously your database. First you had an address book, then you had a Rolodex, then you had a business card book, then you had computers with Word and Excel, then you had mobile phone contacts, then they created a CRM. Then all that's on your phone, everyone that you have and everything you need. These are systems to make your business easier for you, right? So chicken or the egg, how many of you have read the car manual from beginning to end before you start driving the car?
All the time.
Every time, right? How many of you read the manual on how to use your iPhone? Do iPhones come with manuals?
They used to. Paper.
Oh. How many of you read how to use the MLS?
On the phone.
Have you?
There was a video.
How many of your consumers read instructions on how to use Zillow? Right? It's not the evolution of the technology that's frustrating, it's just the path from learning how to use it. So we do hear a lot of times, Mike hears a lot, sometimes get frustrated, like, oh, I don't know how to do this, it's complicated, right? It's just learning from that, it's the path of learning to use it is typically what frustrates us. You don't want to, time, stuff like that. So let's keep it simple. Keep it simple at the beginning, especially if you're not using command or if you're using it at the beginning, right? Know how to create a contact. You gotta put a contact in there. We forced you to do it because we need you to get your files in command and you should be doing it anyways, right? If they're immediate business, you gotta create them as an opportunity so you can keep track of them and know that they're an opportunity in front of you. If they're an eventual business, you need to make a smart plan so you can stay in touch with them so when their business is ready, they'll be calling you. So you need to know how to create a contact, know how to do an opportunity, which we've already forced you to do. If you've ever done a transaction, you know how to do both these things, right? And then learn how to do a smart plan to keep up with the people. It's very easy, we do a lot of classes on it. Mike teaches it to keep in touch with your people. I'm going to show you why this is important right now. So how many of you guys want to make $1 million in real estate? We all do, correct?
Yeah.
We overcomplicate it. We simply overcomplicate real estate when we just keep it very, very simple. The secret to having all the financial success you've ever dreamed of lies in just two numbers. 3 and 201 plus. All right? 3 and 201 plus. What is the 3? 3 touches a month. 3 touches a month. And to 201 plus people. All right? So if you touch, not physically, if you want to, it's my values, I touch people. It's bad. I do get hugs though. And I show love through physical touch, so a lot of times I always walk by, and I pat shoulders a lot. One of these days I'm gonna rub someone the wrong way, dude, don't touch me, because I don't know you. Whatever. Okay. So 3 touches, 201 a month. So what could be 3 ways we could touch our database in a month?
Email.
Let's take January. What could we do this month?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. How are we going to do it to them?
Text message.
You're going to text message them. Bunch of millennials in here.
Call.
Text message. I don't like to call.
Call and text.
Call and text. Okay. Wow. How simple that was. So we're going to do. We're going to text message 201 people. Happy New Year. All right. What else are we going to do?
Email.
An email. All right. What's the email say?
Happy New Year. What's your goals for this year?
All right. And what's the third thing we're going to do?
Call them. Did you get my email? What do you think of it?
That's too scary. I don't like calling. What else?
Send a mail.
Okay, what am I going to send them?
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want. Send them a freaking calendar with your face on it. Send them a newsletter. Tell them what's going on with you. Send them a personal letter. Give them what's going on in your life. And how real estate's going.
Easy.
Boom, this month's done. What are we doing for February?
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. Awesome. I get a little card with a little piece of chocolate?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet. I love my agent. What else am I doing? There's 1. What's 2? You're going to send me flowers? That's going to get expensive. I like roses. What else are we doing?
Texting them again.
What are we texting them?
How are those goals going?
Monthly newsletter.
Monthly newsletter. There's 2 and a text.
DM them on Instagram. Reply to one of their stories.
Touch them on social media. Perfect. Love it. Boom. February is done. We'll worry about March next month. It's not that hard. It's so easy. Just get a calendar, look at every holiday, send them a card. Send them a newsletter once a month, send them an email once a month. Done. Stop overcomplicating it. Why 201 people plus? We'll show you. So this is command database across agents all across Keller Williams, right? I'm going to over just a minute, bear with me, and I'll get you guys out of here. Command contacts database and GCI. So in the far, this is the number of agents that have 0 contacts in command. Their average GCI is 14,000, meaning they do 1 to 2 transactions a year. Right? The next group, there's 44,000 agents that have 1 to 10 agents in command, clients in command. Their average GCI is 23,000. Then 14,000 between 11 and 12 at 38,000. 19,000 between 21 and 50 at 57,000. 51 to 100 at 15,000 agents, their average GCI is 77,000. From 101 to 200 clients or contacts in command, their average GCI is 84,000. Every single time we teach a new class, every single time we meet with people and we talk about how much money do they make, the first year, what's the same answer everybody gives? 100,000. Every single time. If you want to make 119,000, you need 201 people in your database and touch them 3 times a month. That's proves it. Now you want to make more money, go get more people in there. Right? That's just the average. There's 30,000 people in Keller Williams doing that. So when we talk about 201 plus 3, if you want to just make 100,000, go put them in your database and do 3 touches a month. We've been preaching it, we've been preaching it, we've been preaching it. My favorite part, my favorite moment of last year was when I did a panel. We had Maxie Case, who's been a top agent for like 30 years in Antelope Valley. And she's always sells between 85 and 100 homes, always makes very close to $1 million. And I asked her what her secret was. And she said, well, I have 600 people in a database and I send them a newsletter once a month. So that's all I do. So, like, it's so easy. And I was like, oh, I looked at every one of my agents and I was like, I told you, that's all you gotta do. It's not that hard. But Garrett, I don't know 201 people and I don't know their addresses. Great, go do open houses, go do some cold calling, go do the other stuff to get to 201 people. Right? And you always want to keep growing past 201. That's why we do the cold calling, that's why we do the open houses, that's why we go to events, that's why we meet people. But if you have 200-300 people that you know, open your phone, scroll to the bottom. You probably do. Then your first job is to call them, get their name, number, address, email, put it into command, and figure out what you're going to do to touch them next month. That's it. You don't have to complicate real estate. That's the business. It's that simple. That first call could be difficult, so we do it anyways. Mike, role play with me. Ready? Ring, ring.
Hey, Gabe.
Not you, that Mike.
Hello.
But thanks, Mike.
Hello.
There's 2 mics. Hey, Mike. It's Garrett Rowe. How are you, man?
Good.
Good. Hey, I know it's been a really long time since we chatted. How has life been?
It's been all right. Survived the holidays.
Survived the holidays? Anything good happen?
Got a lot of new bills.
Awesome. Me too. Hey, that's exactly why I'm calling you. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, I just want to let you know that I actually transitioned my career and I started a real estate business. And one thing I'm going to provide everyone that I know, friends, family, clients, is just information about the real estate market through newsletters, emails, different stuff like that. I have your number, I have your name, but I realized I don't have your address or email. You mind if I grab that real quick?
Sure, yeah.
Awesome. What is it?
123 Main Street.
Awesome. All right, I appreciate it. So, man, I'll look forward to it. I'll probably reach out once a quarter to give you a heads up of what's going on in the real estate market, or if you ever need anything, feel free to call me. Oh, by the way, do you have any real estate plans this year?
Not really. Wife and I talked about it, but we're not that quite serious. Just curious what the market's going to do.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people are doing it. Hopefully I'll keep you informed throughout the year. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know, okay?
Okay.
Awesome. Hey, by the way, do you know anyone that is looking to buy or sell real estate that I can maybe help with to get going?
I have a sister that was thinking about it.
Beautiful. It's not that hard, guys. Just practice it like 5 times and just do it. Get over yourselves. It's scary, I know, but once you do it once or twice, most people are super nice.
Yeah.
They're very nice. And if you tell them, I'm going to send you information, keep you updated on the market, they're like, cool.
Or come to script practice in the mornings here.
Come to script practice in the mornings. Make it happen. All right, I'm 5 minutes over and I try to get you guys out on time. I have way more slides, but we'll just do it another time. Love you guys. We'll see you next week. What's next week? More? Not yet. Not yet. All right, we'll see you next week. We'll have some other good training for you.
No, Garrett. Thanks, Garrett.
You're welcome.
Garrett? What?
Bye, Zoom.
So that's market information we should know.
How do you learn it?
Yes.
Yeah.